All right, so this is what happened. I mean, at the time, I was living with Mike, who I worked at Hyman's with, and my friend Will from Opelika. We were all living together on James Island, and Kelly also worked at Hyman's, and she was our friend. And she had, she used to party and drink with me and Mike all the time, and Will too. But Will didn't always party quite as hard as we did. I don't think. I mean, not at this point. I mean, he was working hard. We were living that food and beverage life, and Will wasn't working at a restaurant. So it's different. When you're in that food and beverage life, people know this. People that work food and bev, I mean, you just become an alcoholic doing that. I mean, it is straight up. It is hard not to do. So we're working, and our friend Joey, mine and Will's friend Joey from back home, is getting married. And so we all decide, the four of us, me, Mike, Will, and Kelly, decide we're going to go down there and we're going to party. So we go to Auburn. And I think it's summertime, so school's out, so the bars are pretty empty. But we went to this bar on the corner. We were downtown Auburn. I don't remember. We went in. None of us had a ton of money. We were all relatively broke, but we had a little money. So we went to this bar, and we're like, all right, we got this much money we can spend, and then after that, we got to get out of here. So we went down, and we're drinking at this bar. We're having a good time. It's middle of the day. It's probably noon. We're drinking, and we start talking to this old man in there. Now, he's not old, but he's middle-aged, maybe a little older than middle-aged. And we start talking to him, and we're having a good time. This is 2006. We're having a good time, and then this guy goes, when he leaves, he says he's there, and he's just drinking every beer on tap. There was about 10, 15 taps, and he's like, I'm just having one of every one. And when he leaves, he pays our tab. He paid all our tabs. When we found that out, we go, oh, we didn't take it and go, well, that's great. We got out of here without having to pay anything. We're like, oh, we're back to square one. Let's keep drinking. So we kept drinking, and then we ended up going over to Buffalo Wild Wings, sitting outside having more drinks. My friend Brent came by, and my mom came, some other people. It was foggy, but there was some other people out there, and we just had a blast. And then I was in the wedding, so I had to go to rehearsal dinner. But I don't know anything about weddings. I don't know what rehearsal dinner means. All I knew was where we were having dinner and that I needed to be there by 7 o'clock. So I showed up at 6. I showed up a little early, and I was like, all right, I feel great. I'm here early. I'll go in. I'll have a beer. It was at the Cafe 123 downtown Opelika. My friend Aaron runs the restaurant. I don't know if he owns it or if he's the chef. I know he's the chef. I don't know if he owns it. It doesn't matter. But I go in there about lit, and I told him, I said, I want a glass of wine, I want a Budweiser, and I want a crab cake, right? Because I don't know why I wanted the wine. I think I felt fancy because I was at a wedding thing. But turns out the rehearsal was at 7. The dinner was at 8. I was actually supposed to be at the church. And I'm just alone, about drunk as you can get. And I think I'm doing great because I'm on time. And then we have our own private room. And my buddy Joey is marrying his wife, his now wife, Michelle. We all went to school together. And I know Joey and his mom really well. And then there's a lot of our other friends are there. And I know Michelle well, but I don't know her parents. And for some reason, the seating at the table had me right next to Michelle's mom, who apparently is a very nice lady, but pretty reserved and not ready for me to sit next to her. And I'm just sitting next to her. I'm making all these jokes. Joey took me outside twice and to talk to me, not to yell at me, but to just be like, dude, you got to chill. And then the second time he took me outside, they switched Joey's mom with Michelle's mom, and then the rest of the dinner was fine. I'm sure it's highly embarrassing for the entire family, and they wish I would never had been there. But the next day, I'm set to give a speech at Joey's wedding. I'm not the best man, but his best man didn't want to give a speech, and I'm more than happy to talk. But Joey pulled me aside, and he goes, all right, listen. He said, you can have 2 beers. If you have more than 2 beers, you can't give the speech. which is fair. And then I gave a wonderful speech and made everyone I worked really hard on the speech. I spent time writing it, and it was great, and everyone loved it. And I was friends with everyone. I'm sure Michelle's family, deep down, still dislikes me. And then another time, me and Kelly and Mike and Will went to Key West to my friend Shane's wedding. Now, this is 2007. Shane's having a wedding in Key West, and he's invited us. And these are stories for another time. I won't get too into this one, but we all went down there. We got wasted the whole time. It's a blast. So we had been doing this for years. So now Kelly has moved back to West Virginia, where she's from, and she's marrying, I think, her high school sweetheart. And they're having a wedding, and I've been invited. At this time, Will has moved back to Opelika, and I don't see much of Mike anymore. So it's me and a friend of mine that also worked with us at Hyman's named Sarah is driving up. And we go to this wedding. This is 2010. We're now present day 2010. And we go to this wedding. The wedding's great. I get wasted. I have a mustache. I had just shaved everything but the mustache. And Kelly asked me would I shave the mustache off for the wedding. And so I did. And this is Huntington, West Virginia. And we're downtown drinking. And I think it's the guy she married has a son, a little kid. And we're at the wedding, and the bar says that the kid can't be in the bar. Now, the wedding is over. This is all the wedding party. I'm not really in the wedding, but I've drove a long way, and Kelly has allowed me to come to, well, Kelly probably wants me to be at the wedding party, after party stuff. We rode in a limo up to a bar with the kid. The bar says the kid can't come. We defy the orders. We say, no, he's staying. And so the bar called the cops. But when the cops show up, the cops are friends with the people getting married. So they block off the street out there. People can't get around. We're all talking to the cops. The cops pretend to arrest the groom, and then we all chant HPB, Huntington Police Department, HPD, not HPV, HPD. We're all chanting it. We're chanting it out in the middle of the street. The police department is our friends. It's this weird thing that's gone down, and we're loving it. And Kelly's wedding was a blast. I got wasted the whole time. That's all I ever did was get wasted. I mean, it was a blast. My friend Kenny Vickers also got married in 2010. He got married at some island place. I forget what it's called. Somewhere in Georgia. Some very fancy place. Kelly's wedding and Kenny's wedding were both very fancy. And I think Kelly's cousin, I hung out with Kelly's cousin at the wedding, and the bartender would not give us shots. They had an open bar, and he would not give us shots of liquor. He wouldn't give us straight liquor. So we gave him $20, and then he started hooking it up. And so at Kenny's wedding, it's open bar too. And all my friends, it's like a dang high school reunion down there. Every friend I know is at the wedding. It's a blast. We have a party. I mean, Chris Clearman's there. Joey Tomlinson's there. Everybody's drunk. People I haven't seen drunk in years are just drunk down there. We're having a wild time. I won't say that. And then 2010 was also my 10-year high school reunion. I went there. I was fat. I was sweating. I was just sweating the whole time. I had to go to the bathroom and towel off several times. I wore a neon green shirt to the actual reunion. But the night before the reunion, we went to a place in Opelika called 8th and Rail. And I saw people that, I hadn't seen in 10 years. And it was a blast. I mean, I really bonded with some people. And then at the reunion, the people that I thought would be there weren't there. And the people that I never thought would be there were there. And I felt like we all really bonded. I mean, I had a great time. People that I knew in high school but wasn't necessarily friends with was there, and we had a great time.